Hello there folks, my name is Brendan, this is a Shots Fired Airsoft video, and today we are doing the review / firing footage of the Cyma CM.028U, which is a tactical AK-47. Now I've already covered this in an unboxing, where I went over the sort of construction and features of the gun. This is going to be more of a sort of a light reaction, or my kind of views on the weapon, and we'll be getting into firing footage and chronograph data. So first of all, I had a great time with this weapon. It is fun to use, easy to use, it's relatively accurate, decent enough rate of fire. It's exactly what you'd expect out of a sort of budget end Cyma weapon really, which is usable out of the box, and you can have a lot of fun for not a lot of money. Now a couple of features that I just want to go over that I, on the original unboxing, obviously it was sort of my first impression, so I hadn't really had time to kind of take in what was in there and what it's used for. You get 2 keys in the package, these little chaps, and this one is your auxiliary winder for the mag. So put it in there, you can wind up your high cap with it, and you've also got the dial on the bottom, so it makes life a bit easier for winding. And the other one, which I wasn't at the time particularly sure what it was for, is actually for adjusting the elevation on the sight post at the front. So it's got a little slot on it like so, and that just fits over your little slotted sight post, and that enables you to turn it and screw it in and out on your little threads, which will match what you've got your rear elevation set to. So obviously that is adjustable as well. The other thing I didn't go over beforehand was how to adjust the hop. So if you pull your faux charging handle or bolt back, and underneath there you've got this slider adjustment, which is what adjusts your hop. So that is off at the moment. I switched back off. I had it on about probably a quarter adjustment for firing 0.25s, so that would suggest that this can probably handle up to sort of a 0.3. You get diminishing returns as you put the hop more and more on, and it had no issues firing 0.25s, 0.2s, whatever you care to throw at it really. Still love the build construction and sort of overall feel of the gun. Again, just the right weight. It's quiet, it's precise, it fires reliably, no issues with the mag. The one thing I will touch upon, this, I'm a bit unsure as to whether this has been fiddled with before it was sent to me, because on the box it says that it should fire about 340 foot per second, which is what other reviews seem to say. However, if we look at the chronograph data that I got, unfortunately I lost the initial chronograph data of this. However, if I put a picture on the screen up, you'll see it's firing about 265 feet per second, and it is a very consistent 265 feet per second on a 0.25, which is about 295 to 300 on a 0.2. So we're about 40 FPS shy of what the box says it should be doing. Now this came to me opened with BBs in the magazine, so I don't know if it's been mistakenly downgraded, whether it was returned by someone and has been accidentally sent to me. I'm not entirely sure, but the gun fires immaculately. It just does not fire as hard as the box says. Now firing rate in terms of rounds per minute, we are sat right on sort of 12.9, which is 13 rounds a second, give or take. Exactly what you expect a stock Cyma weapon for this sort of money to do. Obviously we're not dealing with MOSFETs, we're not dealing with high speed motors, we're not dealing with high voltage. We have an 8.4 volt battery in this. If you were to run 11.1 LiPo through, which we can't really recommend, you're probably up around 16-17 rounds a second, which is going some. Obviously not compared to other high-end things that are running 11.1, you're looking at more like 20 to 25 for something like a G&G combat machine, like an ARP9. But it is more than enough for this level of weaponry. So the shooting test. Now I apologise for this footage. I didn't realise how bad the sun was going to affect the sort of gun cam, so we have a bit of a sort of a blind sight going on. However, we've got our target footage, that's the main important thing. Unfortunately having terrible weather down here on the Isle of Wight at the moment. The winds have been very high, so all doing a long range shoot would do is prove just how badly BBs are wind affected. So I had sort of pledged to do a 30-meter range shoot on this, but it ended up being the 15. I may well retest a lot of the weapons that I've had in sort of a 30 to 35 meter range, just to give you a better idea of how they shoot over a longer distance, and just get a sort of a video together of that, which I think would be quite nice. However, 50 meters away, this thing has no problem at all hitting the target. We are on or around the bullseye. The actual sight picture of this is really nice and easy to work with, and it's just a great fun all-round weapon to use. And the fun bit, of course, full auto fire. It's not got the fastest rate of fire in the world, but it just tears that target to ribbons. And you sit it where you want it, and it will just plaster the target with BBs, as it tears the middle out of the target. It nearly does that firing semi-auto actually, but it finishes it off on fully auto, and all around it's a great performance from this budget Cyma weapon. So all in all, my opinion of the Cyma CM.028U is very, very positive. I've got to say, it feels well built, it performs admirably. Mine is a bit soft on the actual FPS, which will stunt its range a bit. However, it's got a great hop on it, and even with the disadvantage compared to other standard CM.028s out of the box, this still has fantastic range. It's still relatively accurate, and it will still hop heavier weight BBs, no trouble at all. The 14mm thread on the front, counterclockwise, it does unscrew. It will take normal silencers, tracers, anything else you want, and obviously these are standard rails. So in terms of like a general platform to use as a skirmishable weapon, this is exactly the sort of thing that your sort of beginner, lower end sort of budget player would have, and they do damn well with it. You still got to look, you still have to look out for these things in the field. They are very good indeed. The performance over everything, I would say, is probably Cyma's sort of motto for me. Didn't have any malfunctions, didn't have any misfeeds, misfires, and everything works exactly as it should do. So all in all, my opinion of this, very high. It's a lovely weapon to hold, it feels great, and I've really no complaints. Just a couple of areas, like the flow charging handle, really could do with some lube in it, and I will get around to doing that at some point myself. But really, apart from that, dust cover can be a bit of a pain to get off and back on, but again, that's just moaning. Battery fitment on all AEGs is pretty bad. It is very tight, so calling out just this one on it would be unfair really, because they all suffer with the same thing. Yeah, apart from that, brilliant weapon, and I highly recommend getting one if you are curious. So I've been Ben, this has been a Shots Fired Airsoft video. Thank you very much for watching indeed. And actually, oh, let me just get something. This is what the upper receiver of a Galaxy gas blowback looks like when it's in loads and loads of bits. Stay tuned for a video where we go into mine and find out why it doesn't work. I've got a couple of ideas, but interestingly enough, it's actually more like one of the open bolt rifles than it is a conventional gas blowback pistol. And the nozzle spring that everyone keeps telling you to just upgrade is in fact a tension spring, which means that you aren't upgrading it easily. There you go. So this is your nozzle spring, almost exactly like, say, the R36. This is just so weak. There's no wonder that the nozzle doesn't want to return. It's too long almost, it seems, out the factory. Obviously this sits in the gun and extends like that when the nozzle moves out, so it doesn't compress. It's an extension spring, which means that upgrading that is going to be quite difficult because there's not much in it that exists. So finding one of those is going to be quite difficult. But that said, that's all in the video to come. So thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.